Hi, this is Anthony Russomanno from the Princeton Review, and I'd like to welcome you to today's session on the resume. The resume is also known as a CV, and this tool of self-presentation is similar to a job search resume in the following ways. It has crisp language, there's a clean layout, there's no mistakes, you don't want to have typos. What we'll talk about today are the grad school resume as well as the job search resume. So again, there's some differences and similarities. It is different from a job search resume, the grad school resume, in that it's not limited to one page. It separates your work and non-work experiences, includes all your experiences. So again, there are some differences and similarities. But before we even get started, the thing we want to talk about is what is your objective in creating your resume? Is it to go to grad school? Is it for a job search? And once you have that objective, then you'll know how to put it all together. What I'm going to cover are things that are going to apply, some tips and strategies that apply to both sides. So one of the most important goals is you want to get an interview. And you're really going to have to sell yourself on it. Remember that they're going to take a little bit of time, a very short amount of time, to skim your resume, and so you want to make sure it's clear and concise and it's easy to read. So as we get into this, for the grad school resume specifically, there are some different categories, and I'll just kind of go over them real quickly. For most students, the order is kind of as follows. There's an objective of a sentence identifying the school and the program which you are applying to, your education, which is the most important entry. You have your basics of the school and degrees, but there could be subtopics such as research and independent study. Your employment or internship or volunteer experiences that are going to help. Even though your academic abilities are the most essential, this also plays a role into it. When I went to grad school for psychology, my research played a big role into the school I wanted to get into. You also have your activities, and then you can have additional categories if you want, other experiences and stuff, but additional categories such as certifications and membership, leadership, whether you do travel or not. So those are some things that you could actually include that. But regardless, whether it's a job search resume or a grad school resume, there's some really important things you want to do. So here's some of the tips that we have for you. Number one, create content that sells. It's really important that you design your resume that it's going to get the attention it needs. And so that includes the descriptions of your skills and abilities. It's going to help determine how many interviews you generate. So one of the big mistakes job seekers make is they list very important data in lower sections of their job descriptions when it needs to be up higher. You also want to match the job with the titles, and you also want to use the skill headings that relate. So that's really important in doing that. Also, I like bulleting sentences. Make sure they're short and structured. Don't worry about so much specifics, and that's a mistake a lot of people make. You can save that for the interview. You want to be clear and concise. And you want to have a lot of action or power words. So you don't want to have, power words like prepared and managed and developed or championed. And those are going to stand out in your resume. And the more specific you can be, the better. But make sure you're consistent, you have a similar style, and again, the variety is really going to help because you don't want to keep saying manage this and manage that. It gets really redundant after a while. So those are the first three. Another one is quantify, and this is where you actually try to create these images of what you're actually doing or the impact that you're having. And a lot of people, they just describe, I'm responsible for this, and that doesn't really show the impact that you're making. So when you talk about quantifying, whether you're putting dollar numbers in there in terms of revenue, or if you deal with enrollment or selling parts or percentages, that's really important. As the reader is looking at it, it's going to create these vivid images for them. So for example, a bad one would be saying account manager for an advertising agency. It's very bland. It just kind of doesn't give as much impact as you have versus something that would be a good something to say would be managed 15 strategic accounts billing in excess of $15 million annually. That just has more power. The one that's written badly is it's not bad in the sense that of what you do, it's just not putting any power to it. Another example is a bad one would be sold widgets to clients located in the Midwest. Well, a good one would be increase sales by 17% in a 5-state territory. It just allows you to create those images and show the impact you're having on your company or business. Or even within school, maybe you're doing some research and you were able to, help some kids and, helped 10 students get into college if that's what you do. So again, quantify. Number 5, highlight your strengths where you're analyzing, for the key words. It's really important. So resumes, they're typically reviewed in 10 to 30 seconds. So you really have to determine which bullets most strongly support your objective, whether it's job search or grad school, and put the relevant points first. This isn't an advertisement of you, and it demonstrates your ability to produce results. So again, highlight your strengths. Number 6 is a needs match. You want to match the need that they have. So whether it's a positioning, an opening, or that particular grad school, they have blurbs about either the position or about the school. And you want to use some of those keywords listed in these ads to match them to your bullet points. If it's talking about organization, you want to make sure there's stuff about organization. And so that needs match really will hit home for those either those schools or that particular employer. If it's a particular school and they do a lot of group work and for business school or leadership, you want to make sure you talk about you managed a 10-person team and was the leader of a group session. Whatever it may be, it's tying to their needs and it's matching up very nicely. You always want to be positive. That's, of course, it just sounds like a no-brainer, but leave out irrelevant points or things that might come off as negative. If some of your jobs, if it doesn't support the job search objective, don't include them then. So focus on the things that support the objective and make sure, again, it's positive. In terms of layout and format, you definitely want to have some white space. You want it to be too text heavy because it's just not going to grab the reader's attention. Again, you don't have to put so much specifics in. You can wait for the interview to do that. So in terms of that, make sure you're conscious about the white space you use and it balances the words on the page. So also the visual elements and the font sizes become very important. So when you design it, make sure it's going to grab the reader's attention and it's not difficult to read. Number 9 is getting third-party advice. So here we have, asking a friend or an outside opinion, whether it's a professor or somebody, your boss, that can kind of give you, well, if it's your boss and you're looking for another job, that would be good. But if it's within the same company, then maybe. You just need to be able to kind of get some feedback on it and have them subjectively review so they can give you the insight in how others will view it. So make sure you don't settle for, it's fine. That's just not good enough. You want it to be amazing. And then the last thing would be just start applying. And this allows you to maybe tweak and target better to the qualifications applying to different positions. And with that feedback, you might be able to make a better resume. And so it's really important to just don't wait and wait and wait and you miss some important windows of opportunity. You should start applying. You can always tweak and target it later. So those would be 10 resume tips, strategies, whatever you want to call it. I kind of brought in some sample resumes to kind of show you what I'm talking about. So here's a sample of one for law school. And what we have here, just taking a look at the layout, you have different heading categories here. There's a lot of action verbs in some of the descriptions here, developed and scheduled and supervised, assisted, and so these are the kinds of things you want to include in your resumes. Here's one for business school or an entry-level position, just content that sells. You want to make sure, here they're giving some great information about some professional experience. They're highlighting their strengths. Here's some qualifications. as far as that content that sells, showing some some background and what they're willing to do, also about their personality. Again, stuff that's going to make your resume stronger. Here's one for sales, and especially if you're doing a sales resume, you definitely have to quantify things. So here they have a 15-phase sales process, up 245% of production, grew key accounts 13% to 80% in the first year. So quantification of it is really important, especially, again, with a sales resume. And then a needs match, so they probably looked at some of the position and the kinds of different competencies listed here. I bet you they match what they're looking for. And then they also did a summary trying to match up with what the position was looking for. So again, these are just some samples of how to put together a great resume. Thank you for your time. If you do have some follow-up questions, here is my email here, anthonyrreview.com, or you can call me here. And just make sure, when you get out there, be a leader, be passionate, empathetic, and intellectually curious. Thank you for your time.